If you're clicking in for the first time and you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so by hitting the subscribe button and also hitting the notification bell so you get notified whenever I put up a new video. If you've done that, I want to say thank you for subscribing and watching our videos. Today we're going to be looking at how to make the shift Dolman dress with a V-edge neckline. What you want to do is take a measurement, have a measurement of what from the nape of your shoulder to wherever you want your sleeve to get to. For this tutorial, the measurement of the nape, that's the middle part right here, so wherever I want it to get to is about 14 inches or 15 inches or thereabout. So here I already folded my fabric on that to that measurement, not minding that my hip is the biggest measurement. Also, I want to have this pattern at the hem of my dress, so I'll just take my measurements from below so that wherever the top stops will be somewhere around here. My hemming allowance here to be about 3 inches. 3 inches in length. Okay, I want to roll that out, and then this is our hem. So the length of my dress is about 39 inches, so I'll just take 39 inches upwards, and then we have our start point, which is about this line. Okay, I hope we understand what I was trying to do. Okay, we can start from here. All right, from this line here, we're going to take our bust point, which is about 10.5 inches, the half length, which is about 16.5 inches, the hip line, which is about 26.5 inches, and then our hem. So we're going to just roll that out. Okay, we'll go back to the neckline now, which is the area of concentration. Okay, and like you saw on the thumbnail at the beginning of the video, the picture right there has the sleeve, the neck very wide. You can push it to one side of your shoulder, like to one side, or it can just rest on both shoulders. You can make it one hand, and like one goes down and one remains on the shoulder, or you can just drop it right there at the tip of your shoulder. To do that, you would need the measurement of the shoulder. For this tutorial, the shoulder measurement is about 14 inches, and then divided by 2 is 7 inches. Okay, but we're going way beyond 7 inches just because we want it to go down more. Now I want you to also remember that this neck line also has a placket. The placket will be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in width, so that will also give us more allowance back to adding to the neckline. So it might not, if you're looking at, I'm using 8 inches for the neck width. Okay, I'm using 8, but it's looking like it's too wide. But not to worry, when you add up your placket back, which is about 1.5 inches, you're going to get about 6 and something. So your dress is going to rest perfectly, but it's going to look like an off-shoulder kind of a gown. All right, I need you to stick with me and you understand better what I'm doing. Now for the depth, you want to go down by 7.5 inches or thereabout. Now you want to go check out the bust point to also know how deep you want this to be. For this, the bust point is about 10.5 inches. You want to have about 3.5 inches to 4 inches safe. All right, so that you don't have your cleavage or your bust showing. But if you want more, you can also go down more. Okay, because plackets will come up also by about 1.5 inch. So you want to go down more, you're free to do so. But for this, we'll be going for 7.5 inches. So for in your own case, you can use whatsoever shoulder measurement you have or you're going for, and add divided by 2 and add 1 inch. But if you want it to just rest normally, like very close to your neckline or just a normal neckline, you could use something less, maybe about 7 inches or 8 inches, maybe 1 inch less than your shoulder measurement. I hope you understand that. All right, so we'll be joining this to this in a V format. Okay, we'll be going ahead to take the waist and the bust measurements. My bust measurement here is about 40 inches. 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. We want to add half inch allowance, half inch ease. All right, you're adding half inch ease all around, which means half inch times 4, which is into 4 places, as in quarter, is 2 inches. So if you have 2 inches ease, I think that will be free enough for you to move about. So we're using ½ inch, which is 10.5, and then 1 inch for side seam. My waist is about 34 inches divided by 4 is about 8.5 inches. All right, but 8.5 inches, we might be adding more than that because we want this dress to be really free. So what I'll just basically do is, use this as a yardstick, which is about here, which is at 8.5, and then drop onto the hip line. So when we're done with that, we can always blend out to get a perfect gown, because this gown is going to have a zip. Now for the hip, our hip here is about 46 inches. 46 divided by 4 gives us 11.5. 11.5 plus ½ inch is 12 inches. So we're marking 12 inches right here, and then 1 inch allowance. So this also has 1 inch allowance. So what we're going to just do is to blend. Now using this to this to this is going to make the dress very sharp at the waistline. So we want to just make a curve, all right, about this. Okay, so there will be excess line. Please disregard my several lines there, but when I'm cutting, just make sure you have something that looks like it's a little bit shaped. Okay, but going down in here will be too sharp and making it too tight also. So you want to have that enough ease around the waist line, but you join from this round and go get to this hip allowance here. So what we're going to do is exactly what we have here. We'll just put it down here, and then we're done. We're going to just put 13 inches right here, and we're good to go. If you want it to have more shape also, you can come in by ½ inch or 1 inch there above, but we're going straight down this way. Okay, we're almost there. Now for the sleeve also, we want to come down a little by about ½ inch to make our shoulder slope. This is just so that we have, or 3/4, let's use 3/4 inches to make our slope. All right, for our sleeve opening. So we'll be doing that right here. Okay, 3/4 inches, and then using our round arm is about 16 inches. Okay, divided by 2 is 8 inches. So you want to come down by 8 inches, giving it some also ease. So that will make it about 9 inches or thereabout. So to be on the safe side, we just leave it at this bust point right here. Okay, now going on right here, we'll be using the entire part. So we'll just come in here about 1.5 inches just to make a slant. All right, from the tip here, we're coming in about 1.5 inches just so to make a slant this way, and then you want to join. Okay, I forgot to mention, just check that measurement right there, and what I'm having here, because I want to use about 9 inches for my sleeve, that's round my sleeve. Okay, then 1 inch for my joining, for my seam allowance. So it's going to be ½ inch below the line. Okay, now what we want to do is to totally blend this right into this line. We can't use a straight line doing that, so we'll use our free hand to simply curve it out. Okay, be sure not to make any sharp edge so that your dress won't look funny. Okay, and that's it. At the tip there, we'll be joining another fabric if we have enough. So at this point, we're going to cut. While cutting, for the shoulder measurement, we're going to have ½ inch for joining. Okay, we're done cutting. If you want to, you might want to make the back neck line looking normal, probably a round curve, a little curve round this way, or better still, you can still go ahead to cut exactly what you have in the front for the back. We'll be doing the same thing, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back, and I've cut the front and the back pieces. All right, using the front piece, exactly what you have in front is exactly what I cut out for the back piece. So we're going ahead to cut the placket, which we're going to be using for this. I'm going to be using this piece of fabric. It's a leftover fabric for the placket, and like I said earlier, the fabric, the placket is going to be about 1 inch to 1 1/4 inches in width. Okay, so we want to cut So if we're using about 1/4 inch plus half inch to sew in, it's going to be about 1/3 inches. So unfold will be 1/3, but opening it up is going to be about 3.5 inches. So we want to cut 3.5 inches, okay, on this side and on this side, 3.5. And then rule that out. Okay, we have these two strips. I want to believe that these two strips will be enough for the front and the back. So you want to check, right, using about this, or better still, fold in two and check if you would have excesses like at the end. All right, so this I think will be enough. So we'll be using this, and then I'll cut this into two, fold it over this way, and give it a very good press. All right, put it over this one, give it a very good press. I'll be back to show us. You can as well put an interfacing, add an interfacing if you want it to have more stability. Probably I'll just do that so that I get more structure right here. I will be ironing on it right here on the back side, an interfacing called a hairstay on both this piece and this piece, which will serve for our front and our back plackets. For the two, I'll do that, give it a good press, and then come back to show us exactly what it looks like. We'll be going back to the placket, okay, how to fix this to the gown. So what we want to do now is to divide into two. You can use any fabric of your choice, but it's always nicer to use a different fabric so that you get to see the beauty more. All right, so what we want to do is we'll go with one piece first. Let's start with the front piece. Okay, now this is our neckline. All right, and then we'll be using two pieces of this. Okay, so what we want to do is, this is the crease, the curved part, and this is the opening. You want to face the opening to the joining in this manner. Okay, ensure you have enough left. Okay, let's push down a bit too. Ensure you have enough left on this side, and then you want to do the same thing, just place it over it in this manner. All right, so we want to pin right now. Now take a look, nothing serious, we just placed it in just so that we can cross these two together. All right, now we know where the middle point is. What you want to do is just simply pin. Okay, I'll go over it again. Just lay this flat on the table, place one strip this way, just right at the edge right there on the line. You do the same thing for this over it. You can do it any way. It could be this way and it could be the other way, any way you want to go. All right, probably let's go this way. Okay, all right, now what you want to do is to pin. Okay, now we're going to be pinning from here, just to pin these two fabrics together. Now I've succeeded in pinning these two plackets together, getting our V shape. We now have the right angle which we need. Now the next thing we want to do is to secure the both of them together so as to avoid shifting. Now what you just want to do is to sew this way using a V, and then this way coming down to this. I'm using a chalk just so you know what I'm talking about. I'll still take it to the machine to sew for you to see clearly, but right here you just sew from this point using a V to this point. To do this for this placket and the second placket. All right, I've gone ahead to join both pieces together. I know this is a black fabric, but I've sewn it here and here, just to hold it, put it in place. So what we want to do right now is to cut off the excesses on both sides this way. and then we're ready to place on the fabric. Now watch closely. Okay, we'll be placing it in this manner. All right, now what we want to do is to ensure that at this tip here, this V tip here, you want to have your V on your on your dress, on the main dress, facing the V on the placket right here. So what we're going to do is to pin right now. All right, using half of an inch, you want to fold over this way. Remember, this is how it's supposed to be placed. But what you want to do is to sew on one part, you have to turn it over this way, because you'll be sewing the front side facing the front side of the fabric. So what you want to do is push till you get to about 1/4 of an inch away from the V in this manner. I hope we can see. And then we pin. Pinning is just to put it in place while we take to the sewing machine and sew about 1/2 of an inch this way. I went ahead to sew this all up, fixing the plackets to the dress, and I've given it a good press. This is the front and the other is the back. This is what the back looks like. So you could take to the serger and then interlock it round. So now the next thing we want to do is to put them together, right side facing right sides, and then sew the shoulder up this way with 1/2 of an inch. I've sealed up the shoulders with a strip of fabric, two strips of fabric for each sleeve, which is like about 22 inches long. And the measurement of this sleeve of mine here is about 19.5 inches. So what I want to do is sew over using my front side facing back side of, that's front side facing the back side of the dress, sew with half of an inch, and then turn it over to the front using the front. I hope you understand that, but if you didn't hear that, just go back few seconds and then you understand what I said. I mean, you sew the front side of the polka dot to the back side of the fabric with half of an inch, then turn it over to the front side. You're turning the polka dot over to the front side and then stitch it up. Either you stitch up or you can hem, use a hemming gum to iron it down. So I'll just go to the machine, attach this strip of fabric, add the pockets and the hem, and then I'll show you what the finished look is like. If you've watched till this moment and you enjoyed this video, I need you to give this video a thumbs up. Remember to drop a comment for me on the comment section below. I love to hear from you guys. And then also, if you haven't subscribed, kindly do so. Thank you so much for the love, guys. I'll be back to show you what this looks like.